It's festival day. It's day one. Well, it's day one because it's the only day, but I am live streaming all day long. I'm going to be talking nonsense by the end of the day. And right now I am joined by the very gorgeous Kate Spencer.
Hi. Hello.
Kate. How are you?
Nervous because I don't know what this is all about. I don't really know what you want to talk about, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, I intentionally do that because I think that over-prepared interviews can be a little bit dull.
Oh, thanks for that. For you, for the people that are just nervous.
People like to have an organic chat.
Organic chat, is that what we're calling it?
We're calling it an organic chat.
Well, I'm sharing this on my pages, so don't mess up for goodness sake, right? Just don't.
So, we've got gorgeous Emma Tom's here. Morning, Tom. We've got Lou's joined us. Trudy's here. Anna's here. If you're here live, come on in, say hi. Be lovely to speak to you. Morning, Michelle. What we're going to do is we're just going to have a chat. And if you do at any point have any questions, then do just pipe up because this is a dog appearing under my armpit.
Festival dog.
This is about us kind of having a chat, seeing what people want to know from us. If you've got questions for me, questions for Kate, or questions that you'd like us both to mull over or talk about, because we've done some rifty type of conversations before, haven't we, where we've taken a subject and just had a little bit of a chat around it. So if there is anything that you want us to talk about, then do yell up and do say. For those of you who don't know Kate is a legend. She's a legend.
Legend.
Oh, what?
Get my carnival accessories ready. Just keep talking.
Oh, it's party time. This might be too much for some people early on a Monday morning. Kate's a bit quiet, says Michelle. Let's just turn up the volume and check that you're good. There we are. Kate the ledge, says Emma. So Kate has a huge, massive, big Facebook page and following, and helps and inspires people to be good humans.
Yeah,
be the very best they can be, to be good humans, to look after themselves, and to lead a spiritual life without the crap. And you can say that on my page. And, really does help and inspire people to change their lives, and has changed the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and is the author of the best-selling books 12 Lessons and 12 Lessons Later. Here we are, come on. 12 Lessons and 12 Lessons Later.
Oh, it's in the pile ready to be posted because somebody put it in a competition. Hold on.
And 12 Lessons Later, yay! And also the 12 Lessons Journal as well, which is coming into its third year, is it?
Yes.
Is it coming into year 3?
Yeah, year 3 for that. But this one's going to be a big rewrite, don't forget, because you said that you'd seen my evolution happen so quickly, like over the last year. You said, oh, Kate, I think you should revisit those lessons because you've brought through so much better stuff, so much more valuable stuff. You've learned stuff. Go back and have a little polish of them before you release it for 2018, which turned into not a polish, a whole rewrite. So 70,000 words later, I've rewritten the whole book, which took me by surprise because I hadn't scheduled in a rewrite. But once I started, you were right, and I realised the stuff that was coming through was so much better, and I couldn't really stop at that point, so I had to keep going. So I lost a month of my life doing that I wasn't expecting. Thanks for that. But people will thank us for it once it's out there because it's loads better. It's much better content. There's some brand new stuff in there, like Law of Attraction. in terms of like shit happens,
Yeah.
in terms of all this bloody pompous superiority that people have about, oh, well, they've attracted that. They've attracted that. And you think, for God's sake, there are people in the world going through some really, really big stuff. Nobody, when you say attracted, it feels loaded, like you've chosen it. Mm-hmm. And I hate that. I absolutely hate people right up on their bloody ivory tower looking down at the world and going, oh, well, you've attracted that. And so I've put something into the law of attraction this time in 12 Lessons Journal called Shit Happens, because I think, you know what, I think the books like The Secret, I think Esther and Jerry Hicks are great. I think, you know, it's all great, but I think what we've done is we've fallen into a trap of thinking we know everything about law of attraction. We think, yeah, okay, well, we know absolutely everything about it. So therefore, if you're going through that, you've attracted that. Well, really, I think we should get out of that as humans and not be that arrogant. We know about this thing called law of attraction. We know about some of the universal laws, but guess what? We might not know everything yet. We might not. Ooh, fancy that. Oh my God. We might not be.
Are you there? Is it just me? I think we play Wi-Fi roulette sometimes with Kate, so let's just see if we can get her back. I think that it is probably just me right now at the moment. So let's see if we can get her back on the line. But you know what she's saying there is, I think that often, you know, there's an element of judgment sometimes where people are talking about the fact that, you know, that I'm just going to pop that come back in. That people have attracted things, that people have, you know, have I gone? Yes, you have, Kate. Come on back. Come on back, my darling. I've popped it in Messenger for you. You know, that people have attracted it, that, you know, it's happening to me because, and I think that there's often this kind of level of not taking responsibility, but also of casting judgment. You're back! Wi-Fi roulette from Spencer HQ.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, I was listening to what you were saying. Yeah.
And I think, when we look at law of attraction, I think that we can, one, use it as a judgment tool, and two, use it as an excuse.
Expand.
Well, I think that often what people can do is they go, like you just said, oh, well, they've attracted that. That's, you know, that's their own fault, and they've got all of this shit on their plate because. And I think that a lot of the time, you know, the shit that we do get on our plate can often be because we allowed it to get there, but some shit is outside of our control, outside of our responsibility, and it happens, and it's there to teach us lessons. And, you know, I didn't attract a coma, I don't think.
No, I don't think I attracted my husband having a brain hemorrhage and going blind in one eye. I can't remember attracting that, you know.
No.
I don't think people attract a horrible diagnosis health-wise, a loss, a trauma. I don't think people do. And there's such a culture now in like the new age, pixies and unicorns, airy-fairy, bloody personal development shiz that, you know, you've attracted that. So I wanted to just introduce this concept of, you know what, sometimes it's actually just because shit happened and it's not fair and it's not right and you didn't deserve it and it was rubbish. And, you know, yes, of course, it's painful and there will come a point where you have to process it and build up, but don't blame yourself, because the flip side of that is, Emma, that if you're immersing yourself in all of this positivity and law of attraction, something bad happens to you, you feel rubbish. You feel you've done that to you and your family, and maybe you bloody haven't. Maybe just something's happened. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe it's just a really, really shit deal that you've been dealt. So yeah, so I've rewritten the law of attraction with that in mind, and I've rewritten some of the other lessons as well on stuff like discernment. We talk a lot about discernment, don't we, Emma? Go on, boom.
We do. Well, we talk a lot about discernment because we work in a space that is often full of hollow promises, that is often full of the media, you know, red tabbed media, Sun kind of headlines. If you're in the UK, like, you know, those headlines that are there just to go bump, and, you know, maybe even clickbait kind of headlines that go, you know, this is the hashtag #1 secret. This is the one thing that you have to do to change your world. This is the one way. If you don't do this, you're never, ever, ever, ever. I'm quite good at that waggy finger, aren't I? Never going to be happy.
These are the golden keys to the kingdom. And people get so carried away, don't they, really, when they read things like that.
And it's natural.
Yeah, of course, because it's marketing speak. But the thing is that sometimes people show up. I think the problem is, in the world today, it is so easy to look credible. It was very, very easy to look credible. That's self-published. You know what I mean? I did that. That's not Penguin or anyone getting that out there. That's me. Yeah, exactly. And that makes you look credible.
If you're going to play the game, I am too.
But you can get a self-published book. You can get a website. You can get a Facebook page. You can buy likes on your page. I've never done that, but I know that you can. You can look instantly credible online. You can get someone to write your copy for you as well. And then suddenly people will look you up and think that you're an expert, a guru, thought leader. Oh my God, don't go there. And actually, sometimes people are showing up and stepping into an arena that they've never, ever experienced, or that they're trying to teach something that they haven't learned. And that can be really harmful to people, because, you know, there's a culture in coaching that you attract high-end clients. I hate that. It's absolutely awful. High-end clients. What's that about? Like, some are better. What does that even mean? Some people are more important than other people. Hello, I don't think so. So, you know, there's this whole culture of that. And unfortunately, there are people paying a lot of money for absolute crap. And we don't like that, do we, Emma?
No. Jackie said you can buy likes. Yeah, I got an email not so very long ago, and I shared it on this page. And it said that if I paid them something like $20, they would get me 1,000 likes. And and Facebook continued to try and shut them down, but there are what they refer to as likes farms, that are fake profiles that go out and like pages in mass. And, you know, Facebook are on top of them, and we often see it when they are closing down these likes farms, don't we? Because we've inadvertently got some of those likes, and you suddenly lose an awful lot of likes. That, you know, because what they're doing is they're kind of fishing about to try and promote certain pages in certain ways, and they've got, you know, certain things that they're doing, and it's really sad. And Facebook are onto it. It's not something that's a blind eye is turned to, but yeah, I continue to get those kinds of emails that say, give us this many dollars and we'll give you this many likes. And that's
so the bottom line with that is, anyone can set themselves up to look credible. You can go to a Facebook page that's got 10,000 likes and think, ooh, wow, they know their stuff, when, you know, a lot of them might be fake, and, you know, they're family and friends. And you've just got to be so careful when you do this kind of work with people, because I know that since I started working with you, Emma, Emma's a coach who hates being called a coach, everyone. The coach who's not a coach, yeah. And I'm the thought leader, guru type person who's not that either. We call ourselves fat lasses on laptops, don't we, Emma?
But we won't be for much longer.
Oh, yeah, the gauntlet has been thrown down. We'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now. Or that we just see people showing up, trying to get people on their bus, and what they're kind of promoting isn't going to help. And that really bothers us, because we come from a really, really heart-centered space. And since I've started working with Emma, I always had that desire to serve, and for my mess to be my message. And people say I'm really authentic and stuff, but that's just because I show up and be me. But yeah, we seem to be doing something right anyway, don't we, Emma? We've got some traction now. And is it 3 years now? Is it 2.5?
2.5 years, I think we've worked together now.
About 2.5 to 3 years, yeah. And things have really, really changed. So I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful for the people that I can help, because I couldn't be doing what I'm doing and helping as many people if I didn't have someone like you to work with. So it's been excellent. Yes, so come on, tell them about the chubby challenge, Emma.
Yeah, the chubby challenge, the gauntlet has been laid down. We are in battle. We are in battle. We are having a bit of we're having a slim off. Right, breaking news. We're going to be doing an event next year, and we decided that we will have a little bit of a slim off to appear on stage in our new slimline versions, although we will have to go shopping, and we might need Lisa Newport, if she's on the line listening in, to take us.
Do you know what we should do? We should get Sarah to keep it a proper big secret and then announce the winner at the event.
Yeah. The thing is, everyone's going to be watching, aren't they, on our Facebook Live to see who arrives.
Who's that?
Jackie said Banks. Oh, Anna Taylor in a face cream.
Oh, Anna Taylor. Oh, my God.
Anna Taylor had a lovely birthday this week, and there's absolutely no way that she is the age that she professed to be on that birthday.
Absolutely not. Anna Taylor is like the most beautiful person inside and out. Honestly, she was right at the front of the queue when God gave out the good looks. You just missed her halo and her wings. I mean, honestly, she's a proper living angel. She's beautiful. And Anna is going to hopefully be coming to that event when we finally pin down a date. And she's going to be a speaker at that event. She might sing for us as well because she's a lovely singer. But she is so fabulous. We really, really need to step up here, Holmes. We're going to have to do something.
Yeah, it's not right to make us look like we've had paper rounds.
I've seen photographs of her with no makeup on, and if she wasn't using a filter, then that's just not okay, honestly. She's fabulous.
And she's joining me later today on the festival.
Woo!
Woo!
Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that. I would have made a bit more of an effort if I'd realised that.
You're setting the bar. You're first on.
Oh, my God, really? Well, it can only go downhill then, can't it, really?
So when we think about, discernment and things, what would you give as bits of advice to people when, they are in that space and it's like, it's really confusing as to what is and what isn't. And, what would you say would be kind of the benchmarks to look at if they're looking at somebody and trying to work out their credibility? Are they what they are?
In terms of either work or life, I would say discernment is a two-part process. And I would say it's awareness and then it's choice. And the awareness comes first, where you buy yourself that little pocket of time, space, and you just think, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about this person? Weigh and measure how you feel. If you're picking up a vibe from them, that's relevant. Don't discount it. Don't let your ego jump in and go, that's not right, that's not right. If other people are saying this person's okay and you don't feel they're okay, that is relevant to you. It's subjective and it's all right to feel like that, It's okay for you to have people in common with other people and for you to feel different about them. So the first one's awareness. Work out how you feel, what you're picking up. No matter what you see on the internet, on Facebook, or what they're projecting as a person, have that awareness of how it's making you feel. Then once you know how you feel about it and about them, that's the time to exercise choice and decide whether or not, is this a person that I want to have interaction with? Do I want to keep them as an acquaintance? Do I want to invite them in my life as a friend? Do I want to work with them or not work with them? So I think it's a two-part process. The first being awareness and the second part being choice. Would you agree with that?
I think to some degree, first of all, it's your gut feeling, isn't it? And I know that, it's that immediate reaction. It's like sometimes you go, oh, I would really like to, but there's just something not right.
Oh, yes, we've had that, haven't we?
Yeah, and if there's that, but there's something not right, listen.
Yeah.
And, listen and see, right, okay, so what might that be? What is it?
I think also another part of that is being open to other conscious people around you and their opinion, because there are times when from my experience, there's times when I've said, oh, I should do this, or this, let's work with this person, and you've said, wait a minute, something just doesn't feel quite right. And because I've been so excited and ready to rush ahead with a project or a person or a situation, I've kind of been blindsided to that. But you're always my backup, and you always say, right, well, okay, let's just wait, don't rush, something doesn't quite feel right. And for you to honor that with people, I would never ever say to you, well, that's BS. Look at their CV, aren't they awesome? Let's just do it. If you're telling me that something doesn't feel right, you're a conscious person, that I trust you, and that you've got my best interest at heart, and that you don't lie.
And sometimes it's not the right time. It's not the right person. Sometimes it's just not the right time.
Yeah, exactly. But also the other thing is, I would add into discernment, Emma, is sometimes people get it wrong when they're in a bad place themselves. You can only exercise that feeling of discernment, of trusting your gut. What does it feel like to you? What's your intuition telling you when you are in an all right place? If you're in fear, if you're not feeling well, if you're tired, if you've got a load of stuff kicking off in your personal life, you might not get that clearly. And that's when I would rely on someone like you or my sister to say to them, what do you think? Yeah. Or I wouldn't make a decision until I felt a bit clearer. So there's that whole thing about working out, is it my stuff or not? Because I've certainly had experience of people having the wrong impression of me because they were in a bad place, and actually it had nothing to do with me, but they themselves were in a bad place, and they thought they were exercising discernment, but actually they had it wrong because they weren't in a good space themselves. So you've got to make sure that you make decisions from a clear space. So that awareness can be altered depending on how you are. And then if you're going to use that to lead to choice, you've got to make sure if the decisions that you're going to make have got any gravity, that you do it when you're in a good place, is what I think.
Yeah. And I think that, you can only make the right choice with what you've got available at that time too.
Exactly. And that's really important, because sometimes we have a tendency as humans to look back over our lives, don't we? And think, I stayed too long. It's my fault. I should have done this. I shouldn't have said that. Why did I marry some ginger arse that looked like Shrek? That's just a random, I don't know where that came from.
No idea where that one came from. I shouldn't have run out of cheese.
But then, you do the best with what you've got in the moment, and that's all you can ever do. But the flip side of that is everyone's doing that. Everyone's doing the best they can in that moment. So looking back and thinking, oh, well, I want nothing to do with them. I can remember 3 years ago when that happened. Actually, did you know what was really going on with that person? Have you changed and evolved in those 3 years? Because they will have, everyone has. Because the thing is, if you're here on earth, every day is a school day. Every day progress, you're banking more experience, even on the really shit days. In fact, more so on those days, to be honest. So, we can only ever do the best we can with what we've got right now. And that goes for your former self and your current self and stuff you're going to do in the future as well. So it's all good, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think rolling on from that is, the experiences that you have make you who you are. And, you said, I shouldn't have stayed that long, or I shouldn't have married that person. Shrek. Yeah, we'll call him Shrek. You shouldn't have married Shrek. But, but all of that experience in the bank made you who you are. It made you who you are, didn't it? And it was that kind of bank up of the good stuff plus the bad stuff equals who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's preparing you for where you are now, isn't it? All through your life, prepared for this present moment. And as we know, this is the moment of power where we've got this. This is the only time, really. So everything that came before is prepared for this. But being conscious of that is what's really important. If not, then I might be, quivering in a corner somewhere crying about how shit it was, and how I got dumped on, and I got left, and I had no money, and oh my God, it was awful. I did do a little bit of that. Okay, I'll be honest. There was probably half a day of that. And then I started to get my act together a bit. And yeah, it was a process. I'm simplifying it because actually it really broke me. It really, really did. And I had to get my act together after that. But it's about not getting stuck in that history. It's about not getting stuck in that story. It's happened. It's already happened. And, you know, the worst thing would be to carry it around even longer with you to contaminate now, because then it's going to contaminate the future, isn't it, as well? So
yeah, totally.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. Absolutely let it go. And when you think about, you know, the things that you have gone through and the things that have made you who you are today, etc., would you ever, you know, do you ever have moments where you look back and you think, I regret that, or I wish that hadn't happened?
Personally, do you mean?
Yeah, but just in life generally.
I think one of the things that I'm quite good at now, and I never used to be very good at it, is that, first of all, recognizing that I'm human and I'm going to make mistakes. And secondly, is admitting when I've made a mistake and being conscious and being aware of it and being humble enough to admit it. And actually, you know, say, you know what, I've really messed up. I'm sorry. I was in fear. I was uncomfortable. I had some old programming going on. I don't know why I did it, but I was a monumental tit, and I'm sorry. I'm just sorry that I did that, and I don't know why. And I do that, and I even do that with my kid as well. I'll say, you know what? I was a bit snippy with you earlier, and that's because I'm tired and I'm sorry, and it's not a good thing to do, and I messed up by being a little bit abrupt with you, and I don't want you to think that was you. It's me. I'm a human. Yes, I'm an adult, but I'm not arrogant enough to say that I know it all and I'm better than you. So actually, Mum messed up, and I'm sorry. So yeah, I do sometimes look back and do I regret things? I'll tell you something that I regret, which might interest you because it's a bit of a flip side. Oh, you haven't heard this? Oh, look at her, everybody! Ooh,
come on.
I regret, when I got divorced, I regret hanging on for so long and fighting, because it took me about 12 months to get divorced. And that's because I'd put most of the money into the pot and I wanted most of the money out of the pot, because in my old frame of reference, that was fair. And I mean, I wasn't awake then to anything kind of personal development wise or spiritual wise, maybe a little bit, but not much. But I hung on and hung on and hung on and fought and fought and fought. And the extra money that I got, basically at the end of the 12 months, represented the lawyer's fees that I'd paid for the 12 months that I'd fought. So had I been able to let that go sooner, I would have healed quicker. And I probably wouldn't have caused myself so much harm with my health and emotional harm, and I would have moved on faster. But in the old frame of reference, I thought I was right.
And you were doing the best you could in that moment, weren't you?
I did. And it was fueled as well by a lot of people around me who could see that I'd put more in, and who wanted the best for me, and they were doing their best too. But the best advice that I could have had at that time really was, you know what, it's done. Let it go. It's cost you enough. It doesn't matter. You're going to be able to make that money back so easily in the future when you've got your shit together. Let them have it, and let them have the karma that goes with it, and hand all of that over to the cosmic police and let them do it, and just let it go and move the F on with your life and stop dragging it round. Because I really, really made 12 months of my life incredibly hard and beyond, because I'd worn myself down so much with worry and upset and trauma that really it knocked me for probably 4 to 5 years, health-wise as well. So really, that's probably a regret that I have. But, you know, I can live with it. It's not, when I say regret, I don't mean, oh my God, I'm so regretful. I just mean I would have a very different feeling of that now. And if a friend came to me, you know, and asked me about it, then that's what I would say. It's cost you enough. So
I'll tell you what's really, really interesting about that is that before I did this, I was a lawyer. I was a family lawyer. And the world started to change in probably the 2005 onwards, when we all started going into recession and things. And the funding availability changed. So no longer were my days really helping the people that absolutely needed my help. And I remember the straw that kind of broke the camel's back was one woman who wanted to spend, I think it cost £12 for me to send a letter as a lawyer. It would have cost her £12. She wanted me to send a letter arguing over a toilet brush. And I remember thinking, enough's enough. This is silly now. And that's not how I want to earn my money. And, that was kind of the turning point for me from a career perspective. Yeah, probably the straw that broke the camel's back, but people that were just hanging on to, and you weren't that extreme, but that's kind of an extreme of bitterness. I just want to be right. And I know that I've done that in the past, and I've compromised my energy and my money in this quest for ticking the box that I was right.
I know.
Does it matter? I know I'm right.
But it's our human ego wants to be right, doesn't it? And this is where stuff like moving on and forgiveness and things, it comes up time and time again, because as humans we want to be right. We want that moral advantage, but the view from them can be very, very lonely. And one of the things that I'm talking with my sister about in our program is the actual cost of being right. Okay, so you want to be right. Okay, you're right, but I'm not going to be your friend anymore. It can cost you so much to be right. And often being right is subjective, and it's totally subjective. It does, was I right to hang on for that much money? No. Was it right and fair that I'd put that much money in the pot? I felt like I had an advantage because I'd put more in the pot, but actually I'd done it willingly. I'd chosen to do it. I'd co-created the situation, so I made the decision to get married. Nobody had forced me down the aisle. I knew what the consequences were financially. I didn't have a prenup, so actually I created a lot of that myself too, really. So, and he will always look a bit like Shrek. So actually,
who's the winner?
Yeah, winner. That's what we say.
I think that, I know the filter that I ran was, what is it taking up from me from a time perspective? What is it taking from me from an energetic perspective? What is it draining from me? And am I seeking to prove I'm right just for my benefit? Well, actually, do you need that proof? Or are you trying to make the other person suffer? And actually, do you need to make the other person suffer?
Yeah, exactly. And, sometimes you can just know that you're right, and that's fine. Sometimes you can just say, you know what? They're a knob. I want nothing more to do with them. The end. I want to be privately right, but I'm just not going to give it any more energy or attention. Or in spiritual terms, I'm not aligned with them. You know what I mean? Which actually can mean the same thing, that they're a bit of a knobber and you don't want anything to do with them. It's totally okay. Again, discernment. And it's time and energy, because time and energy you can't get back. They are resources that you can only spend once. Are you going to spend your time and energy on lower vibration, negative emotions that are going to keep you stuck in an old holding pattern, that are going to suck loads of energy out of you? Or are you going to turn that around, and are you going to point it towards your awesome and go for it that way? And that moment of awareness in the middle is what's going to help you to do that, really, because when you're running unconscious patterns in your head, you get into ego, you get into they did this, they did that, it's not fair, when actually, when you can be more conscious, more aware, you can go into that pattern, and then you can observe it and go, whoo, listen to me, I had a right old rant there. Okay, Kate, time to get your shit together. Let that go. Where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your attention? Is it serving you? Is it serving the people you've come here to help? If those two answers are no, or one of them's no, then you've got some work to do, and you've got to change your perspective and where you're putting your energy. And sometimes you've just got to decide that people aren't for you, and that, if you believe in law of attraction, everyone attracts what they have sent out at some point for them in some way. So just let them get on with it. Release it, let them get on with it. And it's actually got nothing to do with you, what happens to other people. And
it's quite liberating as well, isn't it? When you just go, actually, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Invested in that.
It frees you, doesn't it? It totally frees you from the situation energetically. We cut cords with people in situations, and we just move on. And sometimes that can be quite sad. I've had 2 people in my life where it's been really, really sad that I've had to let them go. And I've done it as consciously as I could and with as much love as I could. But, you know, it was just time for me to do that because of, you know, a whole backstory of stuff. But, you know, it was the right thing to do. And I hope that I release them with grace and ease. And, you know, that's over to them now. They're going to have to get on with their stuff, as I'm going to have to get on.
People go, don't they? You know, some people are here for a chapter. Some people are here for the whole book.
For the Hensa Spawns trilogy.
The Hensa Spawns trilogy. I am going to kick her ass into writing a new fiction book really soon, everybody. 12 lessons later came because I kept sending her to the library.
I got chucked out of there. I'll have to find a new place.
That's because you're not very good at adulting.
It says adult on my library card, I'll have you know.
So, can we talk about your journey to being sat here right now? Can we go back to kind of where I know, I don't know how many other people, I know that you started selling readings on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to the point from, you know, marriage down the pan, feeling a bit ick, to setting up as a readings seller on eBay? How did that happen?
Well, because what happened was basically I had my daughter, we moved house, I was still reeling from getting divorced. Well, I'd been divorced, met someone else, got married again, become pregnant, had a baby. My kid was probably about 2.5 or 3, and I needed to get some income, basically. So it was and I didn't have any consistent childcare. Mm-hmm. So I really was stuck between a rock and a hard place and wondered what I was going to do in order to make money. And I just had a brainwave one day that I would try. And I sold a couple of readings on eBay. And from there, it started to snowball, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I realized that I was quite good at it, that I could actually do what I said. And yeah, I did all kinds of energy work and stuff like that on eBay too. And then eBay made the decision that they were going to close down that metaphysical category because there were a lot of people on there who weren't genuine and people were being taken advantage of. So they made a corporate decision, probably because it gave them a load of hassle, actually, because people, you know, messaging them saying, you know, they wanted feedback revoked and stuff. But I got no negative feedback in 4 years, and I had repeat clients all around the world. I was making about £1,000 a week on eBay at that point, and I was working really hard. Now, when you think of it, my reading started at £5. So that's a lot of work to make £1,000 a week. But I got to the point where I was really doing very, very well. And some of those people are still in my academy now, you know, some of those people, those eBay people. So it was a great place for me to learn to do what I did. And to sort of hone it, really, because eBay is really quite a hostile environment with people threatening to leave you bad feedback, and it's really price sensitive. So I learned quick, and I learned a lot of stuff in a short time. And then when they put it down, that was the same week that my husband had his brain thing, lost his eyesight and stuff like that. So I lost my business. He was in hospital, half blind and nearly dead. My mum was having a really, really big surgery that week as well. So I had no backup at all. And it just all went horribly, horribly wrong that 1 week. And then it wasn't long after that. But the only hope that I had left was that I had 12 lessons. And I was working with a publisher on 12 lessons, who, again, was doing her best, totally doing her best. I was doing my best. That ended up not being a good fit. Not long after that, so then she pulled the pin on that, because I wasn't arsey, but we're butting up against each other a lot with ideas of marketing, and I was saying this is what we should do. she wasn't in agreement. It came to the point where we both agreed that it wasn't going to work. So I then was faced with having to buy back my rights for my own book because she'd done an edit and stuff and prepared it for publication, and I'd announced the publication date as well. So I had no income. I had a very poorly husband. I had it was just not great, and I had to say that the last amount of savings we've got in the bank, the very, very last amount, I need to buy back my rights for this book, and then the little bit that's left, I need to put into a print run, and I've got to do it myself. So I did 1,000 copies myself to start with, and started selling them online, and that was kind of the start, really. And at the same time, it wasn't long after that I set up my academy, which was called something different then, but it's evolved into what it is now. So yeah, and then I think it was probably about a year in I started working with you. So it was 2013. It was it October, November 2013, because we went to an event in Glasgow, didn't we?
You got your first books.
That's when my first books came. I've got low power on my phone. I hope it lasts a bit longer. I charged it right up. I've got a charger. If it goes wrong, I'll go and get it. Yeah, so, and then I started working with you, and then and I was just not confident at all. It was really scary to start with when I started working with you, because I'd been through all of that in my life. I felt like I'd lost everything, really. Well, most things. And I was really climbing up a very, very steep hill, and I didn't really have any idea about how I was going to get the next level. So I was really scared. I didn't have a lot of confidence. I didn't know what to do. I had no strategy. And I was really frightened of committing to working with you at the time, because in my head I was thinking, what if I can't make enough money to pay both of us? That was my self-talk, because my first goal was to make enough money to put petrol in my car and go to Aldi and buy my food shopping every week. That was my first goal. And I was really, really scared, but we turned it around big style, didn't we?
Totally. Yeah, and I think that the one of the things that I want to touch on there about you being frightened, you were frightened to be seen quite a lot, weren't you, at the beginning? And you were frightened of showing up. And I know that lots and lots of people watching will absolutely resonate with that fear. Mm-hmm. Do you think predominantly it was a fear of judgment? Do you think it was a fear of, the people that seeing you? Do you think it was, that kind of putting yourself out there to be shot down? Because I know lots of people feel like, that it's a troll's paradise. What do you think that was the biggest fear for you when you first started?
I think it's because I've been through such a lot in my personal life, and I've been so mangled, and my confidence had been so knocked, that I think I was frightened of showing up. And I think I had this whole thing about, well, who are you? How are you an expert in that? How can you show up and tell me how to do stuff with my life? But the truth of it is, and this is why we are so fierce about being authentic, is that all I ever say and all I have ever said is, you know what? I've been through some stuff that might help you. I might just be one step ahead on the path because of my experience and because what life's done to me. And if I can help you, I would never, ever set myself up as the Dalai Lama or all-knowing. We aren't like that. All we say is we've been through some stuff that might help you. And that's so liberating, because then you don't need to be an expert. Then you're an expert in you.
Yeah.
You're an expert in what's happened in your life. And all you're doing is showing up in service and with the intention that you may be able to support other people. That's it. And I think I built it up to be much, much bigger in my head. I was a law of attraction coach. I was this, I was that, I was awesome. And then part of me was going, no, you aren't, no, you aren't, no, you aren't. But actually, when I released that and I just showed up as being me, and I can hit Facebook Live and say, it's Kate Spencer. That's actually true, because I am Kate Spencer. And it just... it's all right. It's okay to be me, and it's okay to have bad hair days. It's okay to have a cat's bum in your face. It just is what it is. I think when your message is bigger than your fear of showing up, that's what I had to learn. That my message was bigger than my fear of showing up, basically. So And you helped with that load, so thank you.
Pleasure. It's been a pleasure of a journey. So would anybody like to ask us anything? Does anybody want to come in and ask us anything at all? Anything that you want us to go over? Anything that you want us to chat about? We'll open up the floor. Jackie says, oh, poopy pants, I've got to go. Poopy pants is a good one. I have the word nincompoop that I need to use somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a marvellous word.
Doylem. I'm going to bring back Doylem. So my parents say the doobry. Do your old say that? The doobry, when they don't know the word for something. Put it in the air, in the doobry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Come on then, what would you like to ask? What scares you both the most? What do you battle with most regularly, says Jo?
Business-wise, does she mean, do you think?
Well, let's go with business-wise.
That Emma will catch me faffing. No.
Don't call me home.
What scares me most business-wise is, I suppose, I really don't respond well to people being very, very hurtful to me personally. I find that really, really hard, and I've now had to lock down my circle. And you're in it, Jo, don't worry. I've had to lock down my circle because the more public you get, when you've got a big heart, you want to be there for everyone and you want to help everyone and do what you can for as many people as possible. But sometimes that's to your detriment. So you have to really lock down and exercise discernment. It scares me that I suppose, people don't see you for who you really are, and people are shitty about you. I really, really don't like that. And although I'm really confident and I show up in a confident way, I've had some real wobbles about that. And Emma's one of the few people in my circle, and my sister, and Emma Johnson, you know that too. I've talked to you about it when I've had a wobble. Is people being really shitty about you publicly, because sometimes you can't defend yourself. That's really hard. You can't actually come out and defend yourself and say, you know what? They really, really shit on me. They're not genuine. They've got no integrity. They're a mean person. They're a wounded healer. And they are going around herding people up into a private Facebook group, slagging me off. And that's not okay. You can't come out and say that. You've just got to do the love and light thing and think, well, let the cosmic police deal with it. And there is an element of that. But you also are human, and it bloody hurts. So I guess that's my toughest thing in business. So what do you think, Emma?
Well, I think for me, it's probably having the time, space and energy to practice what I preach. Because I think I invest so much energy and attention and effort into everybody else that often, I've got to keep coming back to but you also have to walk the talk. You also have to do the thing. You also have to. And I think my biggest fear is that kind of running out of capacity to be able to continue that ripple and, overly investing in everybody else without investing in myself. And I know that there's been occasions where I've teetered on burnout. I know that there's occasions when you've teetered on burnout. And I think, my biggest fear probably is ultimately the burnout, because it stops you sharing your message, whether you want to or not.
I tell you what else we talk about a lot as well, Emma, is that the bigger we get, and I don't mean that in an egotistical way because that's bullshit, the more pull we have on our energy, we really, really do not want our message to be diluted. And this is something we talk about a lot. We don't want the end user experience to be a load of shit because we've scaled so fast. Because my business and Emma's have scaled so quickly in the last, say, 2 years. When we moved house, I moved house a couple of years ago, and Emma moved house a bit more recently. Our accountant had a struggle with our mortgage applications because it looks fake. Because actually the money that we make has gone up so quickly. But that's because we're showing up and we're delivering and we're there and we're doing it. We're walking the talk. We're living it, But I think one of the things we talk about a lot is, as we continue to grow, how do we keep it so that we're still in service. We're always coming back to, does this serve? How do we serve? How can we help? And sometimes I feel a bit guilty for not being able to be in my academy groups as much as I used to. But, you know, I do as much as I can. And I think we've both got that kind of, not a fear, but that awareness that we've always, we can't get. So, you know, we just don't want it to be diluted when we're here to help people.
Yeah. I think it's not carry away on the wave, and we have to keep going back. You know, we can't spread ourselves too thinly. We can't, you know, we can't be everything to everyone in everywhere all the time. But still, we don't want that to ever diminish the end result.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I don't ever want to be lumped in with all those. Yeah, you said a really bad swear word there. I don't ever want to be bumped in with those people who just funnel people down with into numbers thing, and the experience is not good for the person at the end. Because yes, we launch. Yes, we go full out when we launch. Yes, we are there, we're showing up, we're building our businesses, but it's always because we want to reach the people who need us with the message that they need. It's always about service. It's all, the money that we make is a side effect of what we do. It's a happy side effect, but it's not the main thing. You wouldn't believe, I'm going to say something really, really amazing here. So buckle up for this one. You wouldn't believe how much we do behind the scenes in a way that's really, really heart-centered and really help people. If you're one of the people who's experienced that from us, you will know. But I know what Emma does, and she knows what I do. And we really walk the talk, and we pay it forward, and we massively give people a leg up when they need to. And sometimes in your business and in your life, you just have to come back to, we've got to do the right thing. Yeah. What's the right thing to do here?
We only had this conversation last night. What is the right thing?
What is in that person's best interest?
Yeah.
I could sign them up as a coaching client, or yes, you know, we could do this, that, and the other, but will it serve them? It'll make my bank balance fatter, but will it serve them? Absolutely won't serve them. Okay, so we need to be honest about that. What will serve them? What will that look like? Because that's why we're here. And sometimes that's a tough call to make, but it's one that we always have to come back to. And one that sometimes when you're a bit too close to the coalface, we rely on each other for as well, don't we?
Yeah, because often it can be, you know, actually I could just say, if we look at kind of the selling people things, I could just say, buy this. And, you know, the numerous conversations I've had with people where I've said, do you know what, I could say to you, you could come on and work with me as a one-to-one VIP client. But actually right now, I think you're best served spending £10 a month in there.
Exactly.
But we also do stuff that actually we're doing for nothing in any way. You know, we do things, and we've both had conversations in the dead of the night with people, and, you know, done things that I wouldn't expect those people that you were describing before that want to shove you down a funnel would ever do.
No way. And, you know, if and we're not encouraging this, I mean, crikey, we're not the Samaritans, but if someone reached out to me from my academy that needed me and I was there and I could help, you know, it's not about the £10 a month, not about that at all. It's about service and helping people. And it always comes back to that.
Yeah, always about being a good human, doing what you can.
But, you know, I love, you know, when you get an email, Emma, and people on my email go, dear Kate, if it is really Kate. And they don't even believe that it's you that's answering them because they think it's someone else, you know. I hope it's really you that answers your own emails. If not, please can you send to Kate? And when you email them back, they're amazed.
Yeah, and I would never, ever throw that off in that way either. You know, no matter what happened in the future, it is about being connected to your audience, I think.
Totally. And we know some really, really big names in the spiritual world who, you know, I know someone that will not say who, but you approach them to see what it would be like working with them one-to-one, just for curiosity's sake, and how much it would cost.
It was too cheap.
They never even bloody emailed you back.
Yeah.
And there are two people who are really, really big names out there that I approached to speak at our event, or when it was just going to be my event, and then we've kind of snowballed it into a joint thing. And you know what? My Facebook reach is bigger than theirs, and I've got, you know, loads more traction, but because they're a household name, they totally ignored my request. And I could have easily paid their fee, easily, but it's just an ego thing. And let them get on with it, really. We aren't like that, are we?
Never, ever, ever.
No.
And I think on that note, perfect end. Emma Tom's just said, "Oh my God, I've just realised that I have got a celebrity sister."
Oh my God, how funny is that? You've just realised.
She's been telling you long enough.
I need a new sister. I've dedicated my book to you, for God's sake. Did you not twig? It actually says in the book, "For my sister Emma, the bravest little soul in the world," for God's sake.
Oh, you could just pretend that's me now. We're all right.
And you've always known I was awesome, haven't you? You chose me. She got lumbered. You chose. I told you.
Hard. Well, thank you so much for kicking us off today and spending an hour with us. It has been absolutely epic. I hope everybody got something from it. I hope it's been great for you all. And I am going to be back in about 15 minutes after I've been for a week. And grab a brew, and I'll be back in about 15 minutes with Kat from the Business Beautician.
Ooh, fab. She's lovely.
Yeah. So thank you so much, my darling. It was lovely to have you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.